For several years, the reproductive rights of women have been challenged by the U.S. government. For this particular issue, we would like to change the heartbeat bill, or more formally known as House Bill 285. It was signed by Governor Mike DeWine of Ohio on April 11, 2019. The heartbeat bill basically states that once a heartbeat is detected during a pregnancy, no matter the circumstance, the woman cannot legally obtain an abortion. The heartbeat is typically detected as early as 6 weeks, which is when most women aren't even aware of the idea that they are indeed pregnant. The only exception for this bill is if the woman is at major risk of permanent injury or death. This law excludes any women who get pregnant through rape or incest. This is counter to the objective of Roe v. Wade, which was a ruling that protects a woman's right to an abortion on the basis of a doctor-patient confidentiality. The General Assembly, as well as many other anti-abortion groups such as Ohio Right to Life, advocated for the heartbeat bill to pass in Ohio for years. However, the bill was repeatedly rejected by former Governor John Kasich for a period of 10 years until Governor Mike DeWine took office this year. This stirred up a lot of backlash from the president at Ohio Planned Parenthood, who states that it will be taken to the Supreme Court. According to Ohio Right to Life, this was their intention. The main platform is to oppose abortion and eventually overturn Roe v. Wade. The idea of a heartbeat bill was risen from a group also known as Faith to Action, which was created in Ohio in the year of 2011. Since then, there have been many forms of heartbeat bills and anti-abortion laws that were created, but were not passed until this year during April of 2019. From the research I have found, there are now at least 16 states that have some form of heartbeat bill that bans abortion after that 6-week period of pregnancy. A lot of people believe that Donald Trump is to blame for these bills, for them to be passed due to his pro-life stance on the issue, and the current Republican Party is in the House on the Supreme Court. Republican and Democratic policy beliefs differ greatly on the issue. Even within the parties, they still find some controversy within the issue. Within the Republican Party, there is a spectrum of pro-life beliefs, such as some Republicans believing in no exception for abortion at any time, while others believe in exceptions for extreme circumstances, such as when the health of the mother is at risk, or in cases of rape or incest. Within the Democratic Party, there is also a spectrum of pro-choice beliefs. Most Democrats would agree with a woman's right to choose, regardless of if it were a health issue, rape, or incest, while other Democrats who are further left-wing believe in the concept of bodily autonomy at any stage during the pregnancy, meaning the pregnant person retains control over their body until the time of birth. The concept of bodily autonomy and a woman having the right to control whether or not she feels ready to carry a pregnancy to full term is a principle that transcends between party politics and is about the human experience as a whole. No person should have any form of government making choices for them about their body, and as a pregnancy and motherhood are life-altering decisions, it should be up to the person who will live with the consequences of the actions that they will do.
Passing the heartbeat bill while simultaneously limiting women's reproductive rights means the government does not have to fund any Planned Parenthood or other women's clinics. The heartbeat bill is specifically about pregnancy, but it cuts funding for women that are looking for counseling needs, mammograms, pap smears, birth control, and other important services, and or procedures that women need to get done. Abortions are just one of the many services that are offered to women at clinics, and cutting funding for it cuts funding for all the additional services. While Planned Parenthood is funded by grants, donations, and reimbursements, and not the government, these bills are created to them down. Defunding Planned Parenthood doesn't mean taking away their funding. It means blocking patients from using these services that are offered. Patients with insurance, such as Medicaid, can no longer use the services such as birth control, cancer screenings, exams, STD testings, and treatments. According to statistics, about 60% of Planned Parenthood patients rely on Medicaid to get their health care and to use the services that they need. Without places like Planned Parenthood, many women could not afford or get the health services that they need. With things like the heartbeat bill passing, it is an effort to shut down and get rid of these places that support women's rights and that care about women's health. It is not all about abortion, it is about limiting women's rights and taking power away from them. In 2017 alone, Planned Parenthood was able to help roughly 45,000 people. 170,000 were STD testing patients, and 18,000 were HIV tests. Planned Parenthood does more than abortions. They also provide cancer screenings, domestic violence education, sex ed classes, and classes that teach young mothers how to care for their newborn babies. Ohio Right to Life is absolutely thrilled that Planned Parenthood will not get any more of our state tax dollars, said Michael Gonadakis, president of Ohio Right to Life, in the statement. Thanks to this very encouraging decision, Ohioans of conscience won't have to worry about whether their tax dollars are going towards abortions.
In the media, this bill was covered by several news platforms when it passed in the month of April of this year. However, since then, it hasn't heavily been talked about in the news. As for how those who work in the social work profession for a living would likely feel about the passing of this bill, we tend to believe that because social work tends to be a more liberal job profession, that they too would be on the side that agrees with pro-choice, which is that it infringes upon a woman's right to choose what she can do with her body. As for how those who are pro-life and pro-choice would feel, which are the two main sides of the issue on abortion, we believe that those that are pro-life would be in favor of the bill passing because it takes away the chances of an abortion happening very, very early on within the pregnancy before the woman even knows she is indeed pregnant. However, those who tend to be pro-choice are likely to believe that this bill greatly infringes upon a woman's right to choose because most women do not know that they are pregnant.
Services from Planned Parenthood in 2017 included over 570,000 breast exams and Pap tests, 614,000 cancer screenings and prevention procedures, 16,800 well woman exams, over 2,620,000 provisions of birth control information services, 831 adoption referrals. Planned Parenthood funding is about $1.3 billion. Approximately $530 million is government funding. Most of Planned Parenthood's federal funding is from Medicaid reimbursements for preventative care. Planned Parenthood affiliates in 16 states now provide telemedicine services, including telemedicine abortion services in 13 states, while also including videos and consent and STDs had 334,414 views last year. We would petition that the heartbeat bill, which is now law, be amended. Women should have rights to safe and legal abortions up until a fetus is viable outside the womb, because up until that point it is still an extension of a woman's body and therefore her decision. This is included in cases of rape or incest, but special consideration should be given to such cases when determining the best course of action for the pregnant person in question. Furthermore, at any point in pregnancy, a woman should retain her right to terminate pregnancy and her life or the life of her child is at risk. The choice of following through with a potential fatal delivery is not one that can be made on a basis other than what the person carrying the fetus wants to do because their life is just as valuable as the fetus.